because your revenue is less than 67 million as per the Small Business Act. So what they do is they review and they compile the financial statements and they sign them off with you alongside your approval as well. So that is what we do as Masisizane Fund. And also we are more relaxed compared to other DFIs and banking institutions, because you spoke about having a bad credit record due to generational poverty and. If upon desktop assessment, I do a credit check, for instance, and I find that you've got judgments and defaults, if you can come to me as a pre-investment associate and prove that you do have a settlement arrangement with your creditors, I am more than willing to consider your application. So all in all, ladies and gentlemen, as Masisizane, we take the restoration of Black people's dignity very seriously, and we do everything that we can to assist all Black businesses. And Gitu, I think your question was directed to Absa, right? And Hoops, your question was around how do we make sure that we make our brand more visible. I have to admit, before I joined Old Mutual, I didn't know about Masisizane Fund. But in the year that I've been there, our marketing team has been very aggressive in positioning us. And as a result, we're sitting on our second quarter, and I have done 4 roadshows. I've attended 2 workshops, and I'm here today. So a lot of people are learning more and more about us, and we're more than willing to engage you and to let you know what exactly we look for when it comes to funding. So yes, it's something that hasn't been done properly in the past, but we are positioning our brand aggressively and making sure we're more visible going forward. And it shows in our numbers of inquiries and deal turnaround times. And Charmaine, the lady from Wits, you were asking if there are any funds, research and development funds that we can offer your incubatees. Unfortunately, Masisizane Fund started as a philanthropic activity where we have an endowment policy owned by Old Mutual when they closed their unclaimed share scheme. We kept on drawing from that pot. We kept on drawing, and we had to impair and even write off a lot of loans over the years. So that has turned around. In the past 3 years, we've taken a stance of financial sustainability. And please do not get me wrong. What I mean by that is that, yes, our interest rates are prime linked, but in the market currently, we offer the lowest interest rates. I'm sorry if anybody here is from CIFA, but they know our rates are the best. So we will not be able to help you with that because we've moved from being a philanthropic fund to a financially sustainable fund. So hopefully one of my panelists will be able to assist and give you the answer you need.
Thank you. In the interest of time, we just keep it a bit short so that we can get through all the panelists and most of the questions.
Okay, thanks. Let me just start with the ones that were directed at me. Maybe I'll just leave the rest to the other colleagues, but maybe I'll touch one or two. I'm still going to, after this session, it's going to be my brief presentation before we go into lunch. So maybe let me leave that for that particular session, and maybe just go on the other questions. Also on historic financials. So one of the things that we have done as a bank is traditionally businesses they think what is it that the customer needs. So we did it the other way around. We have a team which is a customer value proposition team that goes to markets and assesses what the need is. So that is how we have structured the lending that we have under alternative funds. That is the background of it. Because one of the things, a typical example that was just mentioned now, is that traditionally people coming from the township, it's people who do not have assets, for instance. So as we know that if you're going into a business banking environment, one of the requirements is that you have some sort of security, some sort of collateral. And with alternative funding, that's one of the main things that we are saying you're not required to have, as an example. So even if someone is starting their businesses, because one of the questions that we get as well is, do you support startups? And the definition of that varies. But we support someone who says, I've not done a business before. Here's an opportunity that I've identified. And we look at your financial forecasts and we lend you based on that, not based on what you've done before. And because we know that is some of the challenges that we're experiencing in the country as well. And another one about credit records. That is one of the things that we're saying as well. That is one of the criteria that traditionally would be looked at. And we're saying one of the reasons someone goes into business, and I always make an example of someone who maybe was working for an organization before they get laid off and they have the necessary experience. And maybe between that stage, from them working to them starting a business, they went into debt. And when they identify the business, it's one of the ways to get themselves out of the debt. And we're saying we're providing finance for yourself to get yourself out of that debt example. And then in terms of, what are we doing to market ourselves? This is one of the things that we're doing. I've presented twice now at the National Small Business Chamber here in Joburg. And I've got colleagues in KZN who also attend and present some of the things that we do. Over and above that, for the people, for the SMEs who are part of our program, we also pay for them to have stores in the Small Business Chamber, for instance. So those are just some of the things we do. We have digital marketing as well that goes into Facebook, LinkedIn, and so forth. And this year, what we've started with is above the line marketing in your radio stations. The 8 radio stations of vernacular languages, we did campaigns there for this alternative funding specifically, because organizations say we cannot spend a lot of money and speak about something specific. Let's pick up at the whole bank, and sometimes that's where we miss the ad, because after the ad, people don't know what you're marketing. So that's why they say we're focused on a targeted approach, essentially. So, but we can share more information. You can go to the ABSA website and just search for I Need Funds and see this information there as well. So those are just some of the things that we are doing. And something not specifically related to alternative funding in terms of supporting concepts. So we have a number of incubations around the country where obviously we go through a program where we select the people who can go into the incubation programs. And we pay money for the facilities. We pay money for everything to get the concept from concept stage in actually going into incubation. Not only that, there's also even an instance where we supported a fintech company from incubation, and we actually bought into giving them the opportunity to test their platform at our facilities as well. So those are just some of the things that we are doing as a bank, if I'll speak on this. But maybe just please stay put after this presentation so that I can tell you specifically what we're doing through alternative funds. Thanks.
Thank you so much. IDC?
Okay, with regard to the black empowerment, I must say that the BE is at the center of our developmental outcome. So for the past year, about 10 billion was spent on these transactions. About 117 deals were concluded in the past financial year. In terms of credit record, I must say that we can't close you out because your credit record is not good enough, unless you have agreements with your debtors as to how you are going to pay them back. You make arrangement with them, and then you show us that you are going to pay them back, and then that's good enough, and then we take that into consideration. In terms of advertising, we use combination of media. We use TV, we use the radio, we use platforms such as this ones. We go to townships. Last year I've spent my time in Tembisa, in Diepsloot. I even came here, if some of you remember when I came here last year I was here. We have again the division called Startup Nations within our divisions that support up-and-coming entrepreneurs. That is linked to Global Entrepreneurship Network. We have launched 22 onslaught for entrepreneurs that want to take their business from